Okay, thanks so much for coming. Welcome. We'll have everyone sit down, take a seat. So we're really thrilled to welcome you to Lookout's second political forum this season. We'll have one more on Thursday. That'll be the Santa Cruz City Council. We got good weather tonight, which is a big relief. I don't know how many of you had flooding and power outages and downed trees. I certainly did some of that. How many people did have some of those things, right? We're all going through it, yeah. So it's rough out there. It seems to have stopped miraculously for this forum. It did stop miraculously right before the last forum too, so feeling good about that. I'm Jody K. Beal. I'm the Community Voices editor at Lookout. I curate the opinion section, so anyone with opinions can, thank you. I'm also a professor at UCSC. I teach journalism, so I'm trying to educate the next generation of journalists. So yes, it's a very tough task, really important. We're really grateful to all of you for coming out here to showing what it means that journalism does matter, right? That what we do matters, to take part in democracy, to showcase our candidates, and really the ultimate, what I teach students at UCSC is the ultimate act of a citizen, right? We get informed, we learn, we try to figure out what's going on, we read news, but then that's only to help us take action, which is to vote, right? To help decide how we think about our communities. So I'm really grateful tonight for all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Give yourselves a big hand, really, for stepping out in the still somewhat soggy weather to support Lookout, but to support also the community and to get a sense of who you want to vote for in this election. There's so much sadness in the journalism realm right now, right? We're in this weird time where we're shifting from an old model that hasn't been working to a new model that we're looking to hope make work. And a lot of people are experimenting and trying. And I feel really lucky to be part of Lookout because Lookout is working on that, is trying to figure out what is a new model for journalism that might work. So many old established news organizations have been bought out by hedge funds, have been cut up and broken apart. LA Times had more layoffs recently. Our own Santa Cruz Sentinel is owned by a hedge fund group, Alden. Some of you may be following the Baltimore Sun. If you listened to me last forum, I talked about this too, the Baltimore Sun. This very old legacy, 186-year-old paper recently bought by David Smith, who's a top management at Sinclair Broadcast Group. Yes, I don't know if all of you know about Sinclair, right? They own one of the largest TV affiliates in the country. In 2016, David Smith reportedly told Donald Trump, "We are here to deliver your message." Right? All those TV stations across the whole United States. So I feel really lucky to be part of Lookout because we are not here to deliver anyone's message. We really are working hard to deliver news to the community, to go out and report and to bring you important topics that matter to our community and that will make a difference. So I'm proud to be part of it because Lookout is trying to create a new model. It's part of a consortium of small news organizations across the country, local startups, digital, that are trying to make a difference and change how news is reported, online, and to create a new model for what has been a broken model in the past. Lookout is growing. We have a good, robust staff. We're trying to hire an investigative journalist, which would be so great and important for this community. Yes. They're also looking to open a second Lookout, right? So this wouldn't be just a model that works here, but really to figure out how this digital model can work across the nation in other places. So that's an exciting thing to be part of. Again, where most news organizations are shrinking, to be thinking about, wow, this is something new that's breaking new horizons. Of course, all the studies show without news, without education, without knowing what's going on, the public is less educated, they vote less, right? Democracy suffers. The very first thing that people do who are dictators or people who want to seize power is limit the press. And so, again, it's such an important thing to be a part of, and thank you so much tonight for coming out to support this. Tonight, yeah, thank you, good, yes. We're really blessed tonight. We're going to have two discussion forums. The first one, we have the District 1 supervisor race. We have our candidates up here already. And then we'll be talking about Measure M at 7 o'clock. So Santa Cruz City Measure M. We have a lot of Lookout staff who've made this great event possible. Lookout staff kind of circulating over here. Could you wave, everyone? Let everyone know that you're here. They're the ones bringing like all the breaking news on the storms, right? All these people staying up really late to get you that information. Our founder, Ken Doctor, is watching from home, so he is also offering free drinks to anyone, any candidates. So staff and candidates get a free drink on Lookout. So yeah, I'd suggest after, but if you want yours, we can have it delivered to you right now, Lonnie. We can have it brought you up there. I'd also like to thank Jamie Garfield, where is Jamie, and Brittany Ramirez, who have been exceptional. Jamie is the Director of Student and Community Engagement, and Brittany is the Marketing and Sales Coordinator, who've ordered the food and done all the coordinating to bring us this event. So thank you so much to them. We're making Lookout free for elections, so everyone can read it. That's a part of our public service. It's also free for all college students, both UCSC and Cabrillo. Again, part of the mission to really get next generation reading. And we're working on getting it free for teachers as well. And Jamie is coordinating, helping to bring Lookout into the classrooms. So that's another initiative that, again, if we start students early with a habit of reading, of understanding their community and being engaged, we think that we can make some inroads in this community to get the young generation reading again. That all costs money, however, so we are always looking for new membership. Please help us in our mission. We do pay our staff. We are trying to create a sustainable model, so the only way we can do that is if people join. So if you're a member, thank you so much. If you're not, you might think about it, and you might try to recruit some more people to become members, because that's the only way we're going to be successful. Right? We can do our part, but we need our community to do its part as well. We're grateful to Hotel Paradox, our event partner, for offering us this amazing venue. Yes. And I also really want to take a minute just to say thank you to our candidates who are here. Yes, we should really give them a big hand. Not just for participating, that's hard too, that's hard to be up here, especially waiting for us to start, but also just running for office these days is really, more and more, it's taxing, it's taking a personal toll. Across the country, we're seeing fewer people wanting to run for office, which is terribly sad because they're finding it's just the personal toll is too much on their families, on their lives. And these people said yes. They stood up to you and they said they're willing to do this. So we should really be grateful to have that. All right, so without further ado, we're going to start our District 1 discussion. District 1, for those of you who don't know, it includes Live Oak, Pleasure Point, Soquel Hills, part of Capitola, the Summit area east of Highway 17, right? Did I miss anyone? I think we're pretty good there. Okay. In the past two elections, so this election and the last one, we will have seen our veteran leadership in Santa Cruz County on the Board of Supervisors exit. So that's leaving a lot of questions of who's emerging as our newest leaders. We have two candidates tonight, sorry I didn't even introduce you, Manu Koenig and Lonnie Faulkner. So, if Manu remains in office, he's going to be the most senior supervisor. He was voted in 4 years ago, as many of you know. If Lonnie wins, the most senior board member will then be Justin Cummings and Felipe Hernandez, who were just elected this past November. It's a young board plagued with big issues. That includes affordable housing, homelessness, transportation, how to respond to climate change, mental health, addiction issues, fentanyl, the jail, pesticides. We have many, many issues to think about, not to mention roads, which is everyone's favorite topic. Right. We want to help you understand what kind of leader these people would become. to help you think about which candidate you might like to elect. So we are going to ask some questions tonight. I'm going to be asking questions. We also have note cards on your table. We'd love for you to fill them out and ask your own question. We'll be collecting them. If you want to write something, just hold it up, and we will come around and collect it from you. People will be collecting it here. We also will be giving everyone, 2 minutes to answer each question. So, I'm not sure if I told you guys that, but we're going to conduct this a little bit more like a conversation than a question-answer session. I'm going to let them talk to each other, rebut each other, have a discussion. We're going to be really careful and trying to keep you guys honest with time, just so that no one overshadows someone else or takes a lot more time. But mostly, I want you to interact and to have people to be able to answer each other's questions. You know, if you have something you'd like to say to each other, you're certainly more than welcome to say it. I do ask that you refrain from robust applause and no booing. Obviously, right? We want to keep this civil. We'll be collecting cards at the end. And then we'll also, the very last thing we'll do is we'll have a quick lightning round of questions. Just one-word answers, just kind of fun at the very end. Okay. Again, so these two people, we're going to start in just a minute. Just to remind you, the Board of Supervisors oversees a $1.5 billion budget. It sounds like a lot, but when you think about it, that's for the whole county, for all the services that you receive. One of these people will be one of the 5 people who makes decisions about that budget. It includes mental health, needy families, food stamps, all sorts of services that our community relies on. 2 years ago, when we had our last race, the state had we had a huge budget. Now we have a close to $40 billion deficit. So these are going to be issues that are serious in our community and that our supervisors are going to have to think about how to do more with less. So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about there. Something is going to have to give, and the questions are kind of when and where is that going to happen. So I think I think that now we're going to start our. I can't think of anything else that I've missed to say, but we're going to begin. And I asked each candidate to take 60 seconds just to introduce themselves to you, and that'll be our 60 seconds. And then after that, we'll be giving everyone 2 minutes to answer questions. All right, sorry, thanks. Manu, you want to, I don't know who wants to start. We'll start with Manu.
Great, happy to start. Since I've got exactly 60 seconds, I'll jump right in. My name's Manu. I was born and raised here in Santa Cruz County. My parents live out in Corralitos, and my grandparents are close to Pleasure Point. So I'm well familiar with both the rural and urban issues in our community. I graduated from Stanford and have worked for a number of tech startups, including one that I started myself, Civinomics, where we created a political social network and also did polling for many of the agencies, including the city and county here in Santa Cruz County. Some of the issues I'm most proud of from my first few years and change in office are, one, that we've completely revamped the metro system. It'll soon be free, coming every 15 minutes on 3 corridors across town, and we've got the largest fleet of hydrogen buses on order, arriving soon. We completely revamped the general plan so that parcels like 41st and Soquel Drive, which were once being planned for a Nissan dealership, are now being planned for 100% affordable housing. And I'm out of time, but I look forward to your questions.
Okay, Lonnie.
Thanks so much. My name is Lonnie Faulkner. It's an honor to be here. I'm a scientist. Oh, you have to start over again.
Start over the time.
I'm honored to be here. My name is Lonnie Faulkner. I'm a scientist, mom, and founder of the organization Equity Transit. I have 3 degrees, including a master's in human physiology, and I've worked nationally and internationally in the medical field, collaborating across agencies and functions, bringing people together to work on multi-million-dollar projects comparable to the work of a county supervisor. I spent the last several years as a stakeholder with a number of local agencies like the Office of Response, Recovery, and Resilience and the Community Traffic Safety Coalition. I've been asked to run by senior leadership in our community who were shocked when the first thing the incumbent did in 2021 was to fire 2 senior women from their volunteer commission to replace them with 2 male friends rather than respectfully allowing them to finish their term. I've been asked to run by Live Oak and Soquel school board members, union members, and others that have shared their voices have not been heard and their needs have not been met by the incumbent. I've been endorsed by 22 organizations, including 10 major unions, and local and state leaders, including Senator Bill Monning, Sam Farr, and Mark Stone. Thank you so much.
There's a lot there. We'll get to some of those thoughts coming up. Okay, I think there's a lot there to answer to. I'm sure Manu would like to speak to some of those.
Happy to just respond directly to.
Okay, why don't we just start with that?
Sure. Well, first of all, I mean, this accusation that I haven't been responsive is pretty blatantly false. I think I've actually set the gold standard in terms of public engagement and outreach on our Board of Supervisors today. And then again, that is grounded in my work in civonomics. So I hold a regular town hall meeting. I rotate it throughout the district so that each neighborhood has a chance to be heard, specifically about their issues. I publish a newsletter before each one of our Board of Supervisors meetings so that people have a sense of what's going to be voted on and can engage if necessary. You can check online. I've published way more newsletters than any other supervisor out there. I hold regular office hours every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month, and also attend the farmers market so that people have a chance to engage with me, even when and don't have to find me. I'm going out to them. So if people haven't been heard, I don't know if they're actually trying to get in touch with me. I mean, granted, this position, the first district, is different from every others in that we have the most unincorporated residents of any of the districts, which means that we have the most people where the supervisor is the only local government official they can seek out. So yes, I'm sure that occasionally we miss some communication, but we try to correct that as quickly as possible and create every opportunity to hear from people.
Do you have anything to respond to that? In a sense, why are you? He's saying he is effective. You're saying he's ineffective.
Well, actually, I'm not saying he's ineffective in that regard to the seniors and the representatives of our school board members. I would say that it's the people that have come to me that have asked me to run. I wouldn't be running if I felt that our current supervisor was effective and meeting the needs of our community members. We have folks in our rural community who've really stepped up and asked me to run, our school board members, some fire board members. There's a lot of people throughout the district who really have felt left behind. And it's those folks that I'm stepping up to run for.
Okay, well, let's turn it back to you, Manu. Let's hear a little bit, why are you running again? Why do you want this job?
Yeah, well, when you're supervisor, you're responsible for a lot. I mean, as I mentioned, the most unincorporated constituents of any of the district. And it does definitely take at least a year to figure out exactly how to do the job. And then, moreover, time moves extremely slowly in government, especially because, it's not... If we had full authority just to do things at the county, it'd be great. But there's always overlapping jurisdictions, whether it's a state agency. I was just out at Morin Lake. We were looking at those trees that came down, horrible. And luckily no one was hurt, but of course some property was damaged. We would have taken out more trees, but we are hampered by our agreements with State Fish and Wildlife, with the Coastal Commission. And so that permeates into every single issue that I deal with. And I feel like I've really got a good handle on how to get things done and have worked collaboratively with every other member of the Board of Supervisors today and look forward to continue to bring out the best of the entire board. And so I want to run because I think that I really can make a difference with another term in addressing the two biggest issues which I see in our community, which is one, making sure that we can actually build housing. And I've tried a number of things on our planning department, but I think I'm zeroing on finally the reforms that are going to be needed to help people build, as well as to build workforce housing. And then really have tried to get to the bottom of the financial issues that our county faces. You mentioned a $1.5 billion budget. That's not entirely true. I think it's closer to 1.2.
But 1.1.
Okay.
1.1, I
Okay,
said. I
misheard
think I
you.
said
I'm
1.1.
sorry. But the board really only has full discretion over 200 million of that. And a lot of that is state money that flows through the county. I think that we really need to fundamentally address the way our property taxes are allocated in this community so that we have more discretion at the local level and can address more of the nuisance issues that you mentioned, including roads.
Okay, Lonnie, your turn. Why are you running?
Well, I think I alluded to that in my earlier statement, but I feel like the community has stepped up and mentioned that there are a number of different issues that we're facing that have not been addressed. And I just want to say that the fact that somebody is a junior supervisor is different than when they are given advice from very senior advisors and choose to ignore that advice, or when they choose to not listen to the community members and directly go against the majority of the community members in the decisions that they make. So it's really important to me. I listen, I collaborate, I get in the weeds of the community, and that's why I think so many community members have stepped up to ask me to run, because I serve in a number of capacities throughout the county. My service-oriented has stemmed from, I mentioned earlier, the Office of Response, Recovery, and Resilience, Community Traffic Safety Coalition. We have a serious issue in safety on our streets. We have serious issue in our urban, in our rural areas where we have roads that are not getting fixed and not getting access, like Redwood Lodge Road, which I got a chance to see, and this huge, the water just broke it through, and there's no way for residents to get through now from one side to another. So there's a lot of things that have not been managed well, and the residents have asked me specifically to help address those issues. When you have guidance from, for example, the California Coastal Commission that says, look, we need to get our local coastal program certified, and the incumbent has refused to take their recommendations on to do that, to me, it's not taking the recommendations of the folks who really know what needs to happen next in our community. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.